Hi. So I wanted to talk about what it's like for somebody to illegally surveillance you using their third eye. So people have to imagine who they want to listen to and insert their energy into another person. Um, I know this because I have done it consensually with um, a very close friend of mine. And that is what happened for the longest time, how I was able to understand how it works, to get a feel for how astral projection works and how hearing their thoughts works and mind reading or telepathic communication or any of that works through a very good friend of mine. And I realized that shortly after having these very wonderful consensual experiences that people thought that it was okay to do that themselves. I know I talked about it in my last video, how long and what happened, but there actually were periods in between the awful things where I had very beautiful, thought-provoking, in-depth conversations with good people. And there's nothing like sharing a smile with somebody that you know you made laugh. Um, you can feel the end of your lips curl up with them. You can feel them look down like they're bashful, and it's that textbook empath type thing. You're mirroring their emotions. But there's a darker side to it that I'd like to talk about. I don't know if anybody knows what it feels like to be sexually assaulted and for that person that sexually assaulted you be embedded into your body so deeply that they are laughing about what they're doing and they're forcing your mouth up as they're laughing. Their body is just convulsing in laughter over what they're doing as you are trying to defend yourself from what they're doing. Um, there's nothing like having a thought and just a thought that you would never imagine would make another human being angry. For someone to obsessively zone in on your daily life just to hear that sentence that they were waiting for, just to come and rage rape you over. I never in my life would have imagined people would use their abilities like this. When I first got my abilities, I was like, this must be like what God gives people that need help. Because when I first got mine, I needed help. I didn't know that a majority of people actually already had it. I thought it was just, maybe special people or something like that. But yeah, it is a majority of people and nobody talks about it, which is fucking weird to me. I guess it's because they're afraid that they're going to get like locked up in the loony bin or we're going to talk about them. I have been so badly abused with this um ability from men specifically that I'm going to talk about it no matter what people think it's going to do to my reputation. Um, I put this information out in hopes to validate others' experiences and take the power away from these people that don't have consequences to their actions. They bank on it not being real. They bank on people getting um, locked up in the loony bin for this. This has been an unfair control mechanism for a long period of time in society, and I'm not going to sit around and let it be. I'm going to talk about it like it's a normal thing. I'm going to bring it up in conversation like I'm talking about the weather. There's no more hiding it. There's no more double conversations. The more people talk about it, the more you take their power away. Because these people are so ashamed of what they're doing, they don't want people to know their name. That is how awful their actions are. This is their playground. This is where they go and they get to harass and torture and torment people without consequences. I gave them an alternative. Go heal. Go inward, look at yourself and say, I shouldn't be doing this to another human being. I don't want it done to me. What would possess me to want to obsessively sit around and listen to somebody's daily life and abuse them at the moment that I don't like something they say? I think it's common sense that if you don't like something somebody is saying, you don't listen. Simple as that. And the weirdest thing is, they are not invited to listen in the first place. There needs to be social etiquette in this. How is there going to be social etiquette if everybody just caves into these evil ass narcissists and psychopaths? We need to start regulating the social norm. I hate to think about how many people probably died this way. I started making these videos because my nervous system was so dysregulated that I thought, you know what? This is life or death. If I don't do something about it, then I'm going to die this way. I'm either going to have a stroke, I'm going to have a heart attack, I'm going to react emotionally and get myself put in the loony bin and or prison. It's not an option anymore because I'm speaking out about it. I'm also looking for others to speak out about it because it is just simply revolting to me. And I know it's revolting to others. If you weren't on the receiving end of the abuse, you probably don't think much about it. You're just like, oh, sucks to suck, bye. I have encountered so many people when I'm just shopping that will intentionally antagonize me over what they've already been listening to in my daily life. And I know it's what they're listening to in my daily life because they're repeating something that was said the day before and or done the day before. And just saying, oh, I just wanted to see if it was you. I'm having people following me to the store. They're in my head that much. Just to see who I am because I am standing up to the abuse. I am showing people how to take your power back. I am, as far as I know, one of the first people that doesn't care to use my face publicly to talk about it. And that is because I feel like they are killing me. inside and out. And there are studies that show that narcissistic abuse causes brain damage. There are studies that show narcissistic abuse raises your blood pressure. Being in survival mode for too long affects your thyroid. It dysregulates your hormones. It does a lot of things to your body. Maybe I can talk to you about what it has done to my body. My sense of hearing heightened at least double. I hear sounds like a bat, I feel like. Just people talking causes my ear, like just a regular tone of voice causes my ears to go in and out and pop. I have to wear ear protection a lot, which, do I have it right here? Yes. Here's one of the things I wear. These are rifle range ear protectors. It's what you wear when you're shooting a gun. This helps tremendously. If you want to protect your ears and you have been severely abused, I highly recommend these. I got them off Amazon. Yeah, they might not be stylish. Yeah, they might be kind of dorky, but who cares, right? You don't have to wear these. I also got ones that go inside your ears. It was so bad for a while that I was always wearing them in my ears, even when I was sleeping, because people were driving by my house, revving their engines extremely loud. And it was either on accident or on purpose. I don't care to get into that right now because that is just another one of those things where the argument was, I'm driving on public property. How dare you take my rights away? You know what? All I did was ignore them, and after I ignored them, they telepathically projected to me and got angry that I wasn't reacting. That's how I know they were doing it on purpose. Like, and I know they were angry because they went out of their way just to do it. That's part of what gang stalkers do. They try to make you feel crazy. And yeah, they utilize the it's public property, you're not going to take my rights away type thing. That's just one of the things I go through. Which, here I am. I've got headphones on. I don't have to hear their loud trucks anymore. I don't have to hear their loud engines anymore. But they still astral project like they're pissed off that I didn't react to whatever they're doing. I've got a camera. I've got several means of protection in my house. So I'm not worried about it. Now, that's just the hearing side of it. The fact that the sound is 2 times to maybe even 10 times louder at times, depending how worked up my nervous system is, my actual nerve endings hurt in my body. When I hear a loud sound, it's like a direct line to all the nerves in my body. So I feel it through my arms, through my shoulders, through my neck, through my legs and my back. It's like, I don't know if you can imagine lightning just springing out of my nerves, but that's how it feels, just from sounds going into my ear. And I communicate about this to loved ones, and these people listen to that and do it on purpose because they enjoy hurting me. So here you go. Now you can't hurt me. Now what are you going to do? I mean, seriously, people like that exist. I wear sunglasses because lights are brighter than they used to be. Everything is just overstimulating. And that's because my body's in survival mode. I have to know what's coming so I can protect myself, which is part of the reason why I am hearing things so loudly and seeing things so brightly. But what else do I deal with as a survival survivor of gang stalking and gang rape? How about we take that out of the equation? I am just a lesbian. I am a lesbian whose telepathic abilities developed when I was 29 years old. That is all it is. I will tell you, simply put, I am a lesbian. And sadistic men have targeted me for a long time because of their rejection wound. If you are not sexually loving them or sexually entertaining them, they take it so personally that they want to torture you over it. And I don't know if that's what straight women go through. I haven't really talked to a lot of people about it. Do men just keep persisting like that? Like, hey, I know you said no, but I'm going to keep trying. Hey, I know you said no, but I'm going to keep trying. Hey, I know you said no, but I'm going to keep trying. Hey, you know what? I am starting to get really fucking pissed that you said no. I am going to keep trying. All right, bitch. You've said no for the last time, and boom, they take it. Um, you better not tell anybody. You better not tell anybody what I just did. And then they just lock onto you and they make sure they start controlling your thoughts. If it makes, you're making me look bad. You're making me look bad by feeling that way. I didn't do anything wrong. It's natural. And then they get other guys around listening to it like, you're doing something wrong. Like, you were the one that led them on in the first place. Like, why are you rejecting this man? He doesn't deserve it. And then it's like, hey, can you reason with me for a minute? Use your logic. First of all, even if I was straight, I don't have to say yes because I don't know who that is. He didn't do the things that I need a person to do in order to have sex with him. And that aside, I am a lesbian. Let's just be honest. There is no other explanation I need to give to these men than I am a lesbian. I am not interested in the first place. And I think that is one of the reasons I am targeted more because they see my sexuality as a challenge and they think they are going to be the soul that changes me. Is that narcissism? Is that wounding? I have yet to really deep dive into that because I am still defending myself against these evil ass attacks. Now, I think it is their job to assess themselves and wonder why they need me to give them sex in order to not feel rejected, in order to feel loved. But that is just a grown ass woman's perspective. That is just somebody who has healed herself perspective. Do you know how much research and work I have had to do in order to not take out my personal problems on people. And I will have people that argue that me being a lesbian is a personal problem. That is being unhealed. How about this theory? I am a healed lesbian. I am no longer afraid of men. I am just simply not sexually attracted to them. And not only am I a lesbian, but I am a demisexual lesbian, which means I have to form a strong emotional bond with a woman before I feel sexually attracted to her. Um, or at least deeply sexually attracted to her, or even want to consider having sex with her. I am not the hop on Tinder type. I will just say that. And I am stirring up men that are angry at me for not wanting to have sex right off the bat, for not seeing them as sexually attractive right off the bat. I don't think they realize how deep my sexuality really goes. But that is not my problem. That is their problem. And if they want to continue to publicly cause harm to me, whether it is recognized in the physical or not, people still know you. It doesn't go away after you stop. People still watched you do what you did. Especially since I have rallied up a crowd. At this point, people who come at me are ruining their own reputations, are ruining their own character. And that is what I warn them of. I say, hey, you might just want to back off and assess yourself, because me talking about what you're doing isn't going to ruin your reputation. You continuing to do what you're doing while people bear witness to it is ruining your reputation. So you might want to go heal that. You might want to go fix that. And before you do that, you are going to have to take accountability and be honest about what you are doing. Otherwise, you won't heal it. You will just put a band-aid over it and deceive other people, and people will assume that you're fine and you're just another ticking time bomb waiting to go off. People really need to see that you're trying to heal. Because if you feel that it is okay to prey on a lesbian in her daily life and know her schedule and rape her every time she thinks or says something you don't like because you are triggered about her rejecting you, or whatever the case may be, that is just my assessment. And let me tell you, I do not have time to assess these people. Then you have a delusion of grandeur. Who honestly thinks that is okay? I know these men get support systems like, hey man, we'll make her shut up for you pretty much. But I have watched that state of mind slowly diminish because I have reached the hearts of gentlemen. There is a difference between men and gentlemen. Um, and the Neanderthal men are the ones I am talking about. The ones that think sex is the most important thing in the world and you need to reproduce and it's only natural. We are evolving as humans. It is no longer about reproducing anymore. It is about fixing the people who are already populated and not throwing more into the mix. If your only worry is producing right now, you have not done any work on yourself or evaluating what's going on around you. You are selfish. You are only caring about sex and making an excuse for it. Well, it says in the Bible to reproduce, spread thy seed, da 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 da. Okay, but if you take a look around you, it says in a book that you don't need that we need to get people off the street. We need to start curing some illnesses. We need to start embedding mental health in America. And we need to start just making things smoother in everyday life. Let's take all that energy that you use to focus on reproduction and use it elsewhere. It blows my mind. Why are we pumping out more people into a broken society? That is one of the reasons I don't want a child. Could you imagine, even if I went to a sperm bank and wanted to have a child, somebody deciding they don't like me and they start raping my baby because there are no rules and regulations against metaphysical abuse, although it's recognized. I haven't talked about it on here yet, and I didn't know if I wanted to. I don't have a very big fan base at all, um, in the physical, but I will say that I have a little beagle puppy, and her and I were just enjoying the night. And she was laying in my bed and on her back, and I was just having a nice moment. I'm like, oh, this is nice. And then I heard her go, ah! I used my mental energy to go in her head and see what happened. And lo and behold, there was a stranger I have never seen before on her body raping her. Um, and it caused me so much distress that somebody was listening, sitting around praying on me and waiting for me to have a good moment like that for them to ruin it. Could you imagine raping a puppy? She's 4 months old. Raping a puppy because you can't stand the way I am feeling happy at the moment. And she has since then probably been raped 10 more times. And each time she lets off a sharp yelp. That's how bad it is hurting her. Um, and in case you didn't know, yeah, animals can telepathically communicate too. At least most of them. So yeah. Another crazy thing some people didn't know. Um, I almost wanted to do a video specifically about how she was raped, but I wanted her to keep her dignity. I didn't want to stir the pot because the people that did it might cause me more problems. But I did take a video of her, and she is just shaking, like convulsing, and um, she said, I'm sorry, those bad men that were just being bad to me are being nice now. She was in shock because um, the ones that rage raped her then were apologetic and kind, like in a snap of a finger, because so many people saw it and then they wanted to say, oh, I'm sorry, it's okay, I didn't mean to do that. So she was just in shock. But yeah, they were doing it to her last night, and today is February 9th, 2026. So they were doing it February 8th, 2026. Um, there are so many ways for these evil people to twist my videos if I choose to put it out there. Excuse me. Um, Just think, if I put that video out there and I said, hey, somebody is in the metaphysical abusing my puppy in the worst way they could, raping her. They could say I am physically abusing her and call animal control or any type of law enforcement and say that it was me doing it because metaphysical abuse isn't real. It blows my mind. I just looked at the timer and realized that this video is 30 minutes in. I feel like I could go on and on and on about my experience and how it has affected my mental and physical and just day-to-day life. I deserve peace at the very least. I deserve rights at the very least. But if I were to tell you that I feel like I deserve to be compensated monetarily for the rest of my life, the way it is going to affect me, since it has been affecting my jobs as well, my stability and income, I would tell you that without 100% shadow of a doubt, that is what I deserve. I deserve to be compensated for the rest of my life and never have to worry about where my next source of income is ever going to have to come from again. The way it has affected me. Do you know how many people do not even begin to understand what I go through? All they have to do is listen to my life for 5 minutes and say, I would have killed myself by now. Do you know how many people say, I would have killed myself by now if I were you? I have triggers that are so complex that people will never understand it. And while I'm having those triggers, I have predators listening to them and waiting to prey on my weakness while I'm at work. I am just working and I have something that bothers me and scares me or freaks me out, and these people are listening to it and saying, ah, there's a weakness I can use to trigger her. As if I need to be some emotionless robot in my day-to-day life. It blows my mind. It blows my mind how people think. So that's going to be the end of this video. Maybe I'll talk about some more things in another video, but I'm here to tell you, I don't care anymore. If you were being raped before you could even finish articulating a thought because somebody else was obsessively listening to it and didn't like it, you would be making these videos too. You wouldn't care what happens to you. So yeah, here I am. I hope it helps you, and I hope you enjoy. Sending love and light your way. I love you.